Toronto police are calling it an unprovoked attack that has claimed the life of a woman in her 70s. Investigators say the elderly woman was fatally stabbed while loading her groceries here in this North York Plaza.
Another moving part to this investigation is a video circulating online that appears to show a masked individual purporting to be the 14-year-old suspect talking about the murder on a live stream.
Broski, I didn't even mean to kill the old lady. Oh, wow, God. I was trying to get the V from her as a free car so man them could whip it and do a 1, 2 things in it. But fam, it went left.
Toronto's reputation as a safe, multicultural city has been taking hits in recent years, with a spike in violent crime, especially among youth. But no case shook the city quite like the story of 14-year-old Kymani Wint. He's accused of stabbing 71-year-old grandmother Shahnaz Pestonji to death during a botched carjacking on July 17th of this year. The killing didn't just shatter one family, it ripped through a community already on edge, leaving people wondering how a child could turn into a killer. And then came the part that made this case even darker: Wint's behavior after the fact. No hiding, no remorse. Instead, he flaunted the attention, hopping on interviews, bragging, and almost daring the feds to come get him.
I poked her, I caught, and fam, I wasn't even scared.
Online, the reaction was explosive. Some comments were in shock. 14 years old, dude is a lost cause, one Redditor wrote. Others took pity on him. It's sad because he's still a little kid, another person wrote. But for me, this story hit way closer to home. A little over a year before the murder, out of nowhere, I got an email from the teen killer himself. He wanted me to make a documentary about him, even providing me with his personal phone number before I could respond, indicating just how desperate he was. At the time, I brushed it off, figured it was just another clout-chasing teenager looking for some screen time. I couldn't have known then that this random message was the first chapter in a tragedy that would soon rock the entire city. Kymani Wint's story didn't start in the headlines, it started at home, and it wasn't pretty. People say he grew up in an abusive environment, and in one of the coldest cuts imaginable, his own mom allegedly called him ugly. That kind of thing leaves scars. When home stopped feeling like home, Wint went looking for love and loyalty in the streets, hoping the bros would be the family he never had. But the streets weren't any softer. Crews that claimed to have his back ended up setting him up, filming the beatdowns, later posting them online for clout. The weirdest thing about this, though, is that in those videos, he'd smirk through the punches, almost daring the world to hit harder. That defiance became part of his identity. It wasn't just the streets that pushed him out, school did too. He was expelled from Woodbine Middle School, cutting off another chance at stability. Somewhere in that chaos, he decided he wanted to be a rapper. Under the name KNR, he dropped songs and tried to sell the image of being next up. But the truth, the music wasn't hitting.
Lock me up, they can't handle my rise. In the streets, I'm a beast. Got the fire in my eyes. Shots pops, body drops. Let the op be like I'm the king of the six.
The bars were weak, his flow was shaky, and in a city stacked with real talent, he was getting clowned on more than listened to. To keep selling that street persona he wanted so bad, Kymani started claiming Toronto's first blood set, the Ardwick Bloods, like it was his crew, waving that red flag for extra clout. But even that came with even more questions. People from the block have since called cap, saying he was really from Kipling, not Ardwick. Even his self-promotion had its quirks. Kymani ran his own website, and it was, I guess you can say, different. Right at the top, he called himself a self-taught rapper with a passion for featuring other artists via rappers, a line that didn't make much sense. Scroll further and you'd find photos of him throwing gang signs, flexing an obviously fake gold watch, and booking options where you can spend $50 to $1,000 for a feature or hang out with him for an entire day. Ironically, his biggest numbers had nothing to do with rap. 4 years earlier, at just 10 years old, he uploaded a video called If Elevator Had Trap Music, 1 hour loop, a remix of Kevin MacLeod's Local Elevator. It pulled over 62,000 views, more than most of his rap career combined. It was proof that Wint had always been chasing recognition, even before the streets came into the picture. But that search for belonging, online and in real life, would eventually lead him into a moment that changed lives forever. And to understand just how deep that impact went, you need to know about one of those lives, a woman named Shahnaz Pestonji.
The retired geriatric nurse who used to work on the Veterans Unit at Sunnybrook Hospital went to run some errands and buy groceries at this plaza as she did every Thursday morning. Her husband says he became worried when she did not return home.
Normally I tell her, please take the phone. And she didn't take the cell phone. The cell phone was over here, so I couldn't contact her.
It was 2 hours later when he learned his wife had been stabbed around 9:30 Thursday morning as she was loading groceries into her car in what police now believe was a robbery that escalated into a deadly attack.
Before the news alerts and viral clips, there was Shahnaz Pestonji, a 71-year-old grandmother who was the heart of her North York neighborhood. She wasn't just a mom of 3 and a grandma of 2. She was the type of person who'd check on her neighbors, drop food off at shelters, and still crack jokes no matter how rough life got. Family was everything to her. She lived for those weekends with her grandkids, especially her 2-year-old granddaughter, and was the rock her daughters, Dina and Yasmin, leaned on through every high and low. Dina says her mom always found joy in everything, even in the hardest times. She made sure everyone was okay before herself. Shahnaz had also dedicated decades of her life to caring for others. She'd been a nurse, spending 15 years at Sunnybrook Hospital working in geriatrics and with veterans at the K-Wing, before retiring. On the morning of July 17, 2025, her day started like any other. Her husband, Soli, thought she was just running her usual errands, grabbing groceries at the nearby plazas, maybe stopping by the shoppers at Fairview Mall, and then back home by noon. But noon came and went. She had forgotten her phone, and Soli stayed home just in case she returned. Instead, at around 2 p.m., there was a knock at the door, police officers standing there, ready to deliver news that would shatter his world. Shahnaz had been attacked in the Parkway Forest Plaza in what police called an unprovoked assault. As she loaded groceries into her car, a lone masked suspect attempted to steal her car keys. Shahnaz put up a fight and, in the struggle, she was stabbed. She was left badly injured, and despite being rushed to the hospital, she didn't make it. The news of Shahnaz's killing spread like wildfire, not just in her neighborhood but across the city. Social media exploded with shock and disbelief, with many asking how something so brutal could happen to someone so loved. Police presence in Parkway Forest ramped up overnight, but in the streets, the conversation went beyond safety. It was about how one senseless act had taken away a grandmother who embodied the best of Toronto. What followed in the wake of the shocking fatal stabbing was an intense citywide manhunt led by the city's Homicide and Missing Persons Unit. Police launched a full-scale investigative response, streamlining video surveillance analysis, deploying drone support, sending canine units, and conducting door-to-door canvassing throughout surrounding neighborhoods. With mounting public concern and a suspect still at large, authorities secured a rare judicial authorization to publicly release the name and photo of the suspect. Then came the bombshell. Police named 14-year-old Kymani Wint as the suspect. From that moment, the story flipped. Wint disappeared without a trace, leaving family and friends wondering where he'd gone. Investigators zeroed in on the youth's commute habits, noting his frequent use of the TTC, especially having been spotted at Kennedy Station around noon on the day of the attack. Still, that wasn't enough to find the teen. Then, less than 24 hours later, under an Instagram post talking about the murder, Wint dropped a bombshell. He was going live later that night. What followed was the now infamous interview with YouTuber Underground Nation. Wint opened up about his rough upbringing, saying he grew up in Ardwick and looked up to Boulevard Biz, his favorite rapper. He also shouted out Brown Boy, Tricks, and 3M French as other artists he listened to heavy. Later, he moved to Parkway, also known as Uptop Don Mills, where he inherited the local street politics that came with the neighborhood. Wint revealed he got kicked out of his home at just 13, though it's more likely he ran away, and during that period he was reported missing on 6 different occasions.
The first thing I'm gonna ask you, man, is how you feeling right now, fam? How's it going?
Broski, man's are OTR right now, fam. Yo, I don't even know what's going on, because all gone. I'm not even scared like that. Man's been on the run bare times, you see what I'm saying? It's like, it's like, yo, it's an idiot thing, you see what I'm saying?
How do you feel about the people telling you like to turn yourself in?
Broski, fam, at the end of the day, they're just man that they're not making their change and outside like me. You see what I'm saying? Broski, I'm out here making my bands. I'm gonna send you some pictures of me with my rollie, my chain and shit. Broski, these don't have what I have. Get that in your head.
Which ends are you repping? You know what I'm saying? Because I honestly didn't get to know much about this. I was just checking out the surface stuff.
All gone. I've been in. I live in the Olive my whole life, but I rep the Boulevard. You see what I'm saying? But I live in Don Mills. I live in Don Mills for 5 years. So I'm gonna go 10 down. You see what I'm saying?
Send me those snippet. Someone here in the chat says that he did not have any, like your parents weren't supporting you like that. growing
No,
up?
they weren't, broski.
Like,
Fam,
how do
I
you
told
feel
you,
about that?
broski,
And how does
I
that?
told you. All
Hmm?
I'm gonna say is when you have kids, make sure you have a proper roof over your head, money in your hand, and
Hmm.
food in your fridge. That's all I have to say, broski. So that your kids don't have to go outside and go make change and turn into what I am right now. You see what I'm saying?
So you feel like you're just a product of your environment.
I guess. Well, like it's not only that. There's other shit that gone. If you get what I'm saying? There's other shit
Other
too.
factors and shit, yeah.
Real spill, real spill.
Hmm.
I'm not even scared like that. Man's been on the run bare times. You see what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
it's like it's an idiot thing. You see what I'm saying?
As the interview went on, he bragged about being out on bail for stealing cars, and, in a moment that stunned viewers, he openly confessed to the murder of shahnaz Pestonji.
It's not so.
Mm,
It's not none new for you.
mm.
And like you said, you just got out for something. What happened?
Broski, I just got out the free car. I mean, I just got out the bin for beer free cars. Man, them got a fucking Benz. Yo, beer free cars. It's an idiot thing, yo. Broski, I got out a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I didn't even mean to kill the old lady. All while gone,
Mhm.
I was trying to get the V from her as a free car, so man them could whip it and do a 1, 2 things in it. But fam, it went left. Cause yo, she didn't give me the keys, so I yoked her. And then I yoked her and I got the keys.
Idiot thing.
And then the feds came out. I had to cut as soon as they came out. So like, it's an idiot thing.
So the feds were already on the scene.
No.
happened?
All walk on. Somebody came outside, yelled, and then I caught, and then they caught the fed. Yo, fam, all walk on. I poked her. I caught, and fam, I wasn't even scared.
Yo, don't hang. Like, would you change what happened, or do you regret that one situation that happened with the lady?
Fam, all walk on low key, yeah, cause fam, that was an idiot thing. I can't lie. After I think about it, she didn't deserve it. So
Yeah, I feel like nobody deserved this. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, so low key, fam, I wouldn't have done that. So I'm not gonna lie.
Was it an accident? Like, what it was like, show him?
I already told him it was an accident. So broski, I didn't even mean to kill her.
The interview went viral and even made news headlines, but instead of laying low, Wint stepped into the spotlight. During his time on the run, videos started leaking randomly, clips showing him riding the TTC while smoking, flashing guns, and driving recklessly through the streets of Toronto. He even created a new TikTok account where he provided the world with a glimpse of what his life was like while on the run.
You don't do shit?
Huh?
You don't do shit? You bought up on the chain?
Nah.
You bought it for it? You bought up on the chain before?
What?
Have you bought up on the chain before?
Yeah. Outside with gang, you know, smoking DQ, SK. Smoking all the deads, man.
Still haven't even, still haven't even asked my mom yet.
So fuck it. You literally just walked out your house now.
The kid was everywhere, making it clear he wasn't scared of the consequences. Thankfully, after a relentless 3-day manhunt, Toronto police finally tracked him down. On Sunday, July 20th, they made the arrest, coordinated across multiple units, bringing the 14-year-old into custody in Toronto. Wint got hit with second-degree murder charges right away, and the whole city was shook, not just because the cops moved fast, but because an innocent grandmother's life had been taken and now a 14-year-old kid was caught up in a murder case nobody could believe.
What has become of the next generation of our children? A 14-year-old, Kymani, went from Toronto, is wanted for second-degree murder after allegedly stabbing a 71-year-old while she was loading groceries into her car in a parking lot in North York. Stabbed her to death. We are seeing these crimes every single day. People are being killed in unprovoked attacks by children. We need to revise the Youth Justice Act. If you can do these heinous crimes, you can do the time.
Bro, like these YNs are literally disciples of the devil, bro. They're literally killing anybody they see at this point. Bro, like there's absolutely no way you've made an op with a 70-year-old lady. What did she do? What could she have possibly done for you to go and kill her like that?
Nah, bro. You new age parents, y'all need to beat your children, bro. Because me, back in those days, I wasn't doing that shit because you know what I was thinking? My mom's about to beat my motherfucking ass.
When news broke that the suspect was just 14, Toronto's social media scene erupted with disbelief and frustration. People struggled to comprehend how someone so young could be involved in such a violent crime. On Reddit, one user wrote, "14 years old, dude is a lost cause." Others questioned the Youth Criminal Justice Act, which protects the identities of young offenders, wondering if it truly balanced protecting youth with community safety. One user said, "No matter the age, if you purposely take a life, your name and face should be exposed." Over on Twitter, people weren't holding back. Under a post about Toronto police suddenly pulling back the judicial authorization to publicly share Wint's name and photo, one user snapped, "Too fucking bad. Keep naming and posting the evil fuck's name and photos. Anyone think his family didn't know how violent he was? They should be charged as well." It was raw, unfiltered anger, the kind that comes when people feel the system's protecting the wrong side. That outrage only grew when, on the very same day Wint's identity was released, the Supreme Court of Canada made adult sentences for young offenders nearly impossible. In a landmark decision, the court struck down parts of the law that made it easier to try minors as adults, ruling that prosecutors now have to meet an extremely high bar to justify it, even for violent crimes like murder. For most cases, it means the max a youth can get is 7 years, with rehabilitation as the main goal, not punishment, a shift that left many feeling like justice was slipping further out of reach. Canadians are clearly fed up, and this isn't just about the suspect, nor is it a city-specific issue. Teen violence is on the rise across the country. Back in December 2022, 59-year-old Ken Lee was swarmed and stabbed to death in downtown Toronto by 8 girls aged 13 to 16. Cops arrested them nearby and they were initially charged with second-degree murder, but most walked with reduced sentences, with one getting a light 15 months probation. Then in Pickering, a sadistic and cowardly random stabbing back in May claimed 83-year-old Eleanor Downey, and a 14-year-old boy was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Toronto is not the only place on edge. Over in Hamilton, a 17-year-old suspect is now wanted for second-degree murder and attempted murder after a shooting that killed a bystander in downtown Hamilton. Police have previously said that the suspect opened fire on 3 individuals who appear to have been the intended targets, resulting in one of them sustaining a non-life-threatening gunshot injury. The suspect then allegedly continued to shoot, resulting in an innocent bystander being struck and killed by an errant bullet. Now, what does all this tell us? It's a country facing a youth crime spike that isn't isolated, it's everywhere. Add in corrupt tow truck unions putting teenagers on arson jobs to torch rival yards, and gangs recruiting kids to carjack luxury vehicles and flip them for cash or parts, and it's clear, Toronto's at a boiling point. The streets are turning young offenders into disposable foot soldiers, knowing full well the Youth Criminal Justice Act shields them from the kind of sentences adults would face. Wint's trial is still playing out, and the court's gotta figure out how to keep the city safe while still leaving room for a kid to turn his life around. For a lot of people in Toronto, it's a wake-up call, proof we need real programs that actually reach youth before they get caught up in the streets. This isn't just one crime, it's a snapshot of a city dealing with rising youth violence, kids getting pulled into situations they can't undo, and families left picking up the pieces. It's also a look at how social media can turn tragedy into clout, and how that clout can become dangerous for vulnerable teens. A year before this, Wint was chasing recognition, maybe as ambition, or maybe as a quiet cry for help. Now, his name's tied to a loss the city won't forget, and his story's a warning. If we don't reach these kids before the streets do, we're just counting down to the next headline.